This is the Matt and Nagy show.
Did you see Saban's really interested in the Giants job?
Yeah.
Really?
How the fuck are you going to leave? I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm.
There's only so many times you can win the fucking championships.
Before the NCAA finds out what you're doing.
Yeah. Holy fuck. Well, you know who's
some fucking hot chicks in Bama.
Oh, dude, have you ever been down there? You want to have the fucking time of your life.
No,
go to an Ole Miss football game and thank me later.
Hey,
it's the
I'm sorry to interrupt, because speaking of that, I got a press credential for the Senior Bowl, so I'm going to be down in Mobile.
Awesome.
Look at you.
Sweet.
So if any of
you
guys...
any fucking Matt Leinerts out there, I fucking want to draft them.
I'm just going to go interview the cheerleaders. That's funny.
I know Aldo's distracted by fucking NCA&T band, fucking dance troupe.
Are you flying down?
Yeah, I was talking to Lauren because I found out that he recommended to fly down as opposed to drive down. Fly into Pensacola and then rent a car to Mobile.
Yeah, because he fucking drove that shit last year, I think, right?
Yeah, it was like a 15-hour drive.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Thank you.
No, that shit. I drove from Connecticut to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Twice I did it. The second time I did it, I'm like, I can't fucking do this ever again.
Yeah, it's a 9-hour drive, right?
Dude,
it's 14 hours.
Oh, man.
14 and a half.
I used to drive from New York to where I am in New York to New London, Connecticut every Friday when Hila was pregnant.
That's what, 6 hours?
6 hours, yeah. I could get a little bit
do that when I was dating this girl from Ithaca College. I used to drive up.
Every Friday and Sunday. Oh, fuck that. I do not miss that.
Those long-distance relationships, Shine.
Yeah, she's pregnant and still fucking working down there.
Hey, fuck Phil, that chick from Ithaca, is that the one with the bone in the Pillowy area?
Oh. No, that was at Hofstra.
Oh, Jesus. There has to be a funny sex story at Ithaca that you can share with us.
Yep, there's a place there called Duff's. It was dime pitchers every Tuesday night. Dime pitchers. Go there for $1. Get fucking so drunk you couldn't even get home.
That happened to me like 3 times in my life, and I fucking hated it every time. I'm like, how the fuck did I even get to my room?
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I ended up throwing up out the window. Listen, it was like 6 below. I threw up out the window. No joke. I was just so... What was that stuff, Shane, they called liquid crack?
Oh, yeah, fuck? No, I know what you're talking about. It's, fucker.
It had
That's
this,
gonna
like,
drive me nuts now.
Lemony or lime, rather.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Liquid crack.
Shit.
So the boys at Hofstra fucking give us freshmen this liquid crack to drink. You gotta drink it. You gotta drink it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all I know is that the next day, I wake up in my bedroom. My window's half cracked. It's 6 below outside. And there's this frozen icicle of vomit hanging down the fucking side of the fucking dorm to this hot chick below us' room. She fucking comes upstairs like 2 days later. Who the fuck vomited out the window? So you know your boy's like, oh, fucking Eddie fucked up. He was fucked up. She's like, he's such a dick. Fucking girl. The next thing I know, she's taking off her bra and panties in my room.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, man. That was a beautiful day.
All right, let's do this, fellas. We got 3, 2, 1.
Warning. If there is anyone present that is under the age of 18, please ask them to do either of the following. 1. Cover their ears. 2. Put in headphones. 3. Leave the room completely.
Sup, bitches?
You have been warned.
I wanna surround myself with happy things. I wanna surround myself with happy things until I die. Happy things forever. I don't like being sad. I don't wanna die. I hate my dad. Oh shit!
The fact that you brought it up almost like read my mind.
Sup, bitches?
Everybody put your hands in the air.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
What are we doing next?
Surprise, motherfucker. Toasty!
Now we fire John Fox. Now we fire John Fox. Now we fire John Fox. Now we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
So yeah, I'm a kid, and I'm also a goofball, and a wingnut, and a knucklehead McCaskey.
What's going on here?
But most of all, I'm...
Hey, settle down. Take it easy.
I'm...
What the scout? I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street. Under the sun, the bastard son will pop the clock to feed himself and family. By any means, your enemies, my enemies.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Na na na. A Bears ballroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears ballroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets, he's ever missing. Impossible, the mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these faces number one is aura. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Contora. Never one to back down to call a fraud a lemon. In Wazram, no doubt, Miller's asterisk ending. Cheers, Bears fans. The fire Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer, always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce us. Skin out of Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPA, drafts, malts, crafts, barkeep takes the shots. Bomb flies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless shoot supply. Go big coat for the narrative on color, brought the Jasons of campaign for Mitchell. Now I'm the shot enough for the truth. You know your boy's a little guy. These media heads won't give us credits up to the bar flies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter tough guys surround us. Raining truth on the Bears worldwide, bar flies astound us. This is the number one pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears ballroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears ballroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. A Bears ballroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. MC for a Bears ballroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Bears ballroom, you know you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to feel it. Bears ballroom, you know you got to feel it. You gotta feel it. Do you feel it? Firefox, fire, John Fox. MC fulfilling, another fulfilling 45 track. Bringing the hits for the Bears ball flies. 100 proof worldwide. Shout out to John Fox, the super producer, the Godfather. Stand up, unite. Aldo Gandia. Shout out to the Vice President. It's the Bears ball, and of course, it's only one. The smartest man in the bar room. Come on now, the mailman, Shane, Money Man Marcel. Deliver the mail, MC fulfill for the Bears. Of course, your boy, Draft Dr. Phil. 100 proof.
I go a lot by my gut feeling on how things are going to go. I had no idea. It was my first interview ever, interviewing for a head coaching position. I had no idea how it was going to go. As I went into the interview, in that room, you felt it. And it's a special feeling. And when we walked out and we just had a conversation amongst the two of us, you kind of knew that this could be really good. And so, again, I'm going to be right there by his hip. I got his back. I'm going to support him in every way possible. And it was mutual, and it was reciprocated. That was reciprocated to me. And when you have that, that's a beautiful thing.
Reciprocity, my favorite word. Reciprocity. Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears 100 Proof, recording on January 9th, 2018, on what could be a momentous day in Chicago Bears history. It's the day the franchise unveiled the new head coach of the team, Matt Nagy. My name is Aldo Gandia. I push the buttons and make a comment here or there, but don't you worry. The stars of this nightclub act are here and full of insight, analysis, opinion, and humor. They are, of course, draft Dr. Phil Atoshin and Shane, the smartest man in the barroom. Gentlemen, what I witnessed today was the most impressive press conference by a Bears head coach since the days of Ditka. I'm anxious to get your take on it, but first, I must ask Shane, the smartest man in the barroom, about his favorite college football team, the Alabama Crimson Tide. How did they pull off this national championship?
5 and 9 years. You guys, I had to deal with you guys last night, making me feel down, saying it's not looking too good. But just like Rudy Tomjanovich said back in the day with his Houston Rockets, never underestimate the heart of a champion. Mr. Saban showed those big onions and made the quarterback switch at halftime. I mean, that took some big balls. You hear anything over there, Aldo?
I'm hearing a guy that's anxious to get his thought in.
Yeah, I mean, well, if Saban was coaching us a few years ago, maybe we could have moved off of Jay Cutler, right, Aldo? That's right. No, but that was a lot of fun, man. I was exchanging a couple of DMs when Alabama was getting ready to attempt that field goal. And Dustin said, he's like, they're going to do it, dude. And I'm like, you don't know Alabama field goal kickers. I said, they are not going to kick this field goal. I had zero confidence in them kicking it. It's always something with special teams that ends up being a factor with Alabama. And then Tua got sacked on first down, and then 2nd and 26, true freshman. And the rest is history.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
You know, title number 17 and the title number 6 for Saban, and 5 of them at Alabama, 5 in the last 9 years. It's it's really something to be proud of for the old Crimson Tide down there, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. That's for damn sure.
Phil, you think that it's the Saban magic that keeps his team winning championships, or do you think it's the payolas that they give the players to bring in this great talent?
There's no doubting the talent that's out there. It was funny because the 3 players I wrote down, and Shane just tends to read my mind like a psychic sometimes. I don't know how. He's like, the next day, Phil, the 3 guys you talked about were all true freshmen. And that just is a testament to the talent they have. I mean, what a freaking game that was. Take a bow, NCAA football, and having the playoffs. And obviously, I was very loud and vocal about Ohio State not getting in and Alabama getting in. You know, winners, real recognizes real, and it was just tremendous to watch that football game and put a cherry on top of a college football season. But Saban, I mean, and what they do there as far as recruiting, it's funny because people kind of overstep that, and we could bring it into Nagy today, is recruiting and getting talent is one thing, and having talent, but coaching it up is a completely different story. And there's so many hypocrites out there recognizing the importance of talent versus coach versus this, but really ultimately you can't dance the tango without a partner. And that's the same thing with the football coach and the players. And really what Saban's done down there, Shane said, it's just remarkable. And I would not be shocked if he does say enough is enough, and I'm going to take my coaching talents and give the NFL one more shot. I mean, I don't know what else he could accomplish at Alabama given what he's done. I mean, they've become the New York Yankees, the New England Patriots, the evil empires, they call them. And that's what they've gotten to because of winning. And it's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. But there's no doubting the talent there, Aldo. There's players on that field on both sides of the football. Because honestly, the best player I thought on the whole field is the inside linebacker for Georgia. I think that kid, Roquan Smith, is, and I know we're not at the draft season, but just to put it out there early, that kid is a phenomenal, instinctive football player, a dominator, much like you saw in Brian Urlacher or Ray Lewis type. Mm-hmm. That kind of guy jumped off the field. I mean, obviously I've watched 4 or 5 of his games, but there's just a showcase in the biggest game who rises to the occasion, and wow. I mean, that tape is something to watch him. But anyway, it was just great, and I'm happy for Shane.
Yeah, I am too, Shane. Congratulations to you, Alabama. Hopefully this is the last time we have to do that whole thing again. let somebody else win a fucking national championship. Would be nice, But that was a hell of a game. And when we were doing Bears Hour Live and it was halftime or in the middle of the third quarter, I just had a sense that this was going to be one of the best finishes of all time, and it certainly was. But let's not bury the lead. The lead, of course, is Matt Nagy. And this, I want to get your impressions on his premiere press conference today. And let's begin with Shane.
I think the biggest thing that I could point out just really from the jump, and I sent out a tweet about it, and Gabriel turned around just a few minutes later and pretty much tweeted the exact same thing, that it was refreshing. We all invest a lot of time into the Chicago Bears team and really dissect every little move, and we've dissected every loss for a lot of years. And that gets stagnant after a while. It gets a little bit old, and then you have a veteran head coach that is pretty much just collecting a paycheck at this point, and John Fox talking down really to the media and talking down to the fans, and really not taking any of his duties away from the football field in terms of media responsibilities, not really taking any of that serious. And you see a young, enthusiastic, energetic coach like Matt Nagy get up there, and he talked about having passion and a purpose. And I mean, how it's really a testament to Phil. How many times have we heard Phil say exactly that, throughout the last 24 months when we've been trying to get this guy out of here? And whenever he was speaking, I mean, you could just feel it. To me, it felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. And then, yes, the press conferences in the grand scheme of things, none of those are going to matter, because they have to be able to translate this into bringing in the proper talent in the off season, and then translate that onto the field and have more W's. But today was I don't think we could have asked for a better start, Aldo, just with the way that Nagy presented himself. You heard him have high praise for our quarterback. You heard him praise, Ryan Pace, with really going in there with a purpose and passion himself, with what he was looking for. And, you know, I would just say, to me, it really re-energized my love for the Bears and helps you really flush all the bullshit from the past 3 seasons that we've had to deal with, and kind of lost a little bit of our Chicago Bears luster with all the craziness that was going on. But it was fun to watch, and it really filled my gap, my Bears love back up, and I'm ready to head into this offseason 110% and get this thing rolling.
Did you hear him almost say fill his gap? Because I almost heard him say that. Can we rewind back?
Had your name in it, right, Phil?
He spots that every time.
Is Michael Strahan on the line too?
To describe these things that can be fuzzy.
Phil, before I get your take on it, I want to play something for you, which was, in my mind, maybe the most impressive minute that Matt Nagy had at the press conference, and that's when Adam Hogue asked him about who called plays for the second half in Kansas City Chiefs. This is the question and his response.
I want to ask you about the game the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm whether or not you were calling plays the entire time and just the thinking of the play calling in the second half?
Yeah, I called every single play in the second half. You know, again, that's a learning situation for me. You know, I've gone back, I've looked at it. There's scenarios where I wish I would have made some different choices with the play call. But for me, that was a failure in my book for me. But I'll grow from it. And I'll learn from it, I promise you that. So I'll use that as a strength here for me with the Chicago Bears. And you know, I felt terrible for our team, for our organization. We put in a lot of good work, and again, going back to the question of losing somebody, you lose a player like Kelsey, you got to adapt. And you know, I know that our offense and our offensive staff supports me. Coach Reed supports me. But I called every play in that second half. I stand by it, and I promise you I'm going to learn from it.
Very, very impressive. Phil, what are your thoughts about him taking responsibility, something that we haven't seen much here in Chicago the last few years, and just your impressions overall on his press conference and how he came off in this opening day?
Well, first I want to tackle this, and then I want to talk about his press conference. But this is the golden nugget of wisdom for both sides of the equator of Chicago Bears fandom. What? Because everybody's looking for a target and to point the finger at somebody in responsibility of that. Now, I was embarrassed by a lot of people that I have respect for in their initial reaction to what transpired from the Chiefs, ready to turn the page on him, Nagy, as a candidate for the Chicago Bears based on the performance. And to me, you never judge somebody by one football game. Otherwise, there'd be no Bill Belichick, because he lost games in Cleveland. He made mistakes in Cleveland. And every coach deals with those times when you're to yourself and you regret, or you know you should have done something different. When he took ownership of it, because let's pat Shane and Aldo and myself on the back here for 1 second. And in our claim to truth, we've always championed in the Bears, media department, somebody who's not afraid to ask the hard question. And clearly this, like I said, was the finger point for the people that don't like the hire. Look what he did. So Hogue asked the question. He could have easily hid behind Andy Reid.
I got a job following fat people around with a tuba.
Stop it! Cut it out! I have a glandular problem.
Who, not only is he a class man, Andy Reid, he's just a great football coach, and that happens to great coaches. They make mistakes. He could have hid behind him. He didn't. He took ownership of it. He took accountability. He did what a head coach, when you're measuring a head coach standing out in front of guys that make mistakes on the regular, And he's up there owning it in front of the nation, so to speak, because that became the lead on every news outlet. So he admits, the new coach of the Bears admits he fucked up. That's how it's seen. So now that negative slant is going to be shaded onto the Chicago Bears, which it is. I'm just forewarning you. And there's some pieces of shit bloggers out there and pieces of shit writers that are going to take this great moment for this guy, and his whole story goes to shit based on energy and a story that you want to get readers to click on. So you beat down a person when ultimately, if you look at it through the eyes of what he said, and that's called owning failure, promising truthfully that he's going to learn from this, that it's become a strength. So when you're talking about Bears Barroom, we always talk about the truth, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I sat there and watched this guy take ownership of it, and I cringed the moment he did, because I knew the truthful outcome would be used against him. That was my fear. And as he proceeded to go on and take ownership of this, I just felt so proud of the guy. I felt so happy with the new man handling accountability, using that moment, his great moment, his family's proudest moment. He's going to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And he decided, I'm going to answer everything truthfully. And as you said, refreshing. That is the grandest of words, because that's what it was. All right, let's get all the bullshit out of the way. And that's how I feel like he handled it. And it's up to us, Bardflies and Bears fans and Bears Barroom, to give this guy a chance. Just like we asked, support Mitchell Trubisky. We know there's going to be mistakes. This is the guy's first head coaching job. He's going to come in here with a plan. Don't bury this guy with the lead there. That really, I saw a man of integrity up there that I'm ready to back 100%. That doesn't mean we're going to kiss his ass. We're not going to sugarcoat shit. But I am going to tell you that the mark of a great head coach is to stand in front of a locker room and say you made a mistake. But to stand in front of the national narrative on your first day on the job and admit that could go two different ways. And we're here to tell you emphatically, as Aldo said, it was just a great fucking moment. And for me to know what I assess and watching this team so much and dealing with the John Fox and thinking that we were going to get something else with Fox. We were going to get this with John Fox. And we didn't. We got shit with John Fox. We got talked down to. We got no humble, no compassion. This guy brought it. And in this moment of all moments, we have no idea what Aldo's gonna fucking do to us and say and do whatever. I have no idea he's gonna play that moment, but it was the moment that really resonated with me, because I know what it's like to be a head coach. I know what it's like to mess up. I know what it's like to feel like I cost my team the game. I let them down. I didn't coach my best. I should have been more prepared. And I can damn well tell you, looking in the fucking mirror, that was better for the mistake and better for taking ownership. And let me tell you right now, I felt like this guy attacked this press conference with compassion, truthfulness. When you saw a head fucking football coach of your Chicago Bears well up in emotion because of what his wife and family and all of the people that got him to this point, that's what you want. That's what we wanted. I can't give anybody a higher recommendation in that moment. Yes, Shane's right. Everyone's right. Anybody could win a press conference, but not everybody can let down their guard, open up the curtain, and show you the kind of integrity, truthfulness, emotion, compassion, and regret, really, for letting his old team down, that he promises you that it's not going to happen here, that it's going to be better, that I'm going to learn from it. That's the only way we as humans learn, is we made mistakes. We see it on film, we coach it back up, we go out on the field and try to fix errors. That's what football is. It's blocking, it's tackling, it's being prepared, and it's willingness to know that you got to do better than you did. And I felt like that man just made me proud again. I know Shane and I kind of think alike in this, but it's like it got to a point where it was so comical and disappointing on every level. I'm talking the media level of the Chicago Bears, the coaching level, the offensive coordinator, the personnel level, how they used it, the special teams. Every level sucked. In fact, the only thing that was great was being a part of Bears Barroom and the bar flight worldwide. Now, the importance of a head coach coming in here and really loving what he does. Because John Fox, how many times did we say it? It's like he didn't love it. Like he didn't care. Like Shane said, the Kokomo Islands, going on his yacht. Whatever the fuck he lives.
Almost.
But the reality is, this football coach wants it. Do you want it? There's going to be fucking haters out there. There already is. Come on. I've seen it on my timeline. Yeah, we could talk about it. We could do it. But how about this, you fucks who don't even know what a coach is? Because you, unfortunately, have been neglected by good coaching. Because you haven't had it here in Chicago. The football coach standing up in front of you, if he totally shit the bed, you'd find negative in that too. You're never going to please everybody. But those people that love this game of football, let me tell you, as a coach's son, as a football guy, as a lover of this game, the greatest game in the world, for the first time that I can remember, and I think Aldo's right, since Mike Ditka, that I felt like that guy's leading my football team, I'm going to trust what's in store for this franchise moving forward. And that presser was what it said to me.
Shane, one of the things that impressed me...
Till finally shutting up? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had to get it out.
Fucking pregame speech took us to halftime. Jesus Christ.
Listen, my players knew when they came out, they were fucking ready to go to war.
Yeah, for a half of football, that was all that was left.
They missed the opening kickoff. What I found really interesting is that Nagy admitted that he has to grow into this job. Unlike other people that I've debated on Twitter who thinks that coaches never grow, that they are what they are.
They don't matter, Aldo.
They don't matter.
Corn grow.
In the window. So...
If you put a plant in the window, does it grow?
And how do you spell it? But the key thing here is that he recognized and admitted that he has to grow as a head coach. And I was supremely impressed by that. This guy didn't come in. He didn't even predict that the team would win right away. He was, and yet he still had an air of confidence and authority within him. I was just really impressed by that complete different tenor of this guy as a football coach, something that I have not seen from... Ditka had his own personality. He commanded the room because he was rough and gruff and so forth. But unfortunately, some of the times he didn't make any sense with what he was talking about, in my opinion anyway. And then after that, we've had a litany of coaches who had a long list of negatives, but this guy came in, admitted his negatives, and still you walked away impressed by what you just saw. Shane, do you feel the same way that I do?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you talk about him, coming out and saying that he's going to make mistakes and he needs to get better. And who does that sound like? It kind of sounds like Ryan Pace.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sounds like Mitch Trubisky, and that's one of the things that I brought up last night on BHL is the whole good old boy, good boy network and all that shit. John Fox is a guy that's been around, and I think everybody admits that he was kind of sailing off into the sunset and collecting a paycheck, and he knew how to cut all the corners and not really, invest. I don't want to say he didn't invest the time, but he knew, his media, like I said, his media responsibilities, that wasn't a priority for him to command the respect of the media or even any of the fans in a huge media market and a rabid fan base like Chicago. But you see Nagy, this is his maiden voyage. And yes, there's going to be mistakes, just like we saw, with Ryan Pace, just like we see with a rookie quarterback. And this is the direction that I think, Aldo, you alluded to way back when Ryan Pace first got in here. You were not big on the John Fox hire. You thought when he got here, he should have made the quarterback move, immediately. And you're really 100% right.
You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
We're really heading into year 4 here, and maybe this rebuild really should have started 4 years ago. But getting back to Nagy, it does it. It does it. It breathes, confidence back into everybody, because, like you said, he didn't go up there with any type of attitude. And I heard one of his interviews on the Score after the main press conference was done, and they asked him, when you were talking to Ryan Pace and to George McCaskey and to Ted Phillips, did they talk to you about the Super Bowl? How many times was that brought up, the word Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. And Nagy said it wasn't brought up. We didn't talk about that. And they said, well, why wasn't it brought up? And he's like, guys, we're not there yet. This is we have to go through the proper steps with this. And he hasn't even really learned the entire roster yet. So why are you going to be putting these, Mark Trestman came here and had the fucking parade route plotted out down Michigan Avenue for the Super Bowl. And that's just a bunch of emptiness. It really means nothing, in the grand scheme of things. And I loved everything that I heard, but still there's a little seed of doubt in there, because it's got to translate over onto the field, guys. All of this is good. Ryan Pace can go out and sign 4 big name free agents and have another good draft. And you know what? If none of this translates to the field, this press conference doesn't mean shit. And I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but it's time for the Chicago Bears to start stacking W's, and that is more important than any press conference. It's more important than anything. It's time for them to start taking steps, and it started today. It started, 2018. It's got to all change from this point. And I really think another thing that I brought up last night, I think you could feel with the media members that were there in Hallis Hall today, you could almost feel a slight little change. I know Brad Biggs had the dumb question of the day asking, did you change rooms when you were done?
Did you guys change rooms, or
yeah, exactly.
Did you stay in the same room and have the interview with the Colts after the Bears? And
I thought it was a great.
What restaurant do you guys recommend around here?
I thought it was a great response that Nagy had. He said, yeah, I did. I changed rooms, because if I didn't, that'd just be weird. And, everybody started laughing. And today's it's a new direction for this franchise. You got the young GM, you got the young quarterback, you got the young head coach. And it all starts today, guys.
Shane, last coach you saw cry, smile, and laugh all in the same presser.
Sup, bitches?
I haven't
That's
seen
usually me. That's usually me watching a Bears press conference.
Exactly.
Quite honestly.
So,
No,
let me
you know, when
say
you,
this, that's just the real functionings of a human being. I just felt like even his laughter, Aldo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a contagious laugh, a likable laugh. Put that out there.
It humanized
Hashtag
him,
likable
Phil.
laugh.
You know, it humanized him. And that
you know, that arrogance, that love he had. Say what you want. People love Lovey, Ditka. What you're saying, Shane, humanizing him, just felt like he wasn't a dick about football. Is the only reason why I'm here, and that's
he gave a rip.
I'm here to lead men.
Yeah, he gave a rip. Exactly. It wasn't like what we just dealt with, where
exactly
John Fox didn't give a fuck about stuff like that. I don't give a rip about my job security. Yeah, we don't have a plan. Fuck it. I'm going to throw this challenge flag. Stuff like that.
Exactly.
But
one of the things that I was super impressed with was his response to the question, what can you tell or show the players in this locker room who have faced disappointment the last few years? This was his response.
Passion and positive energy. It creating a culture. I just got chills, saying. I mean, it's real. And so everybody in here just having that energy and that belief and that trust of what's going to happen on a daily basis. And that all started for me with this organization and the interview process. I can't tell you how good that went, and just feeling it from Mr. McCaskey, Mr. Phillips, and from Ryan. That was powerful. And so I take that, I come here and I start meeting everybody, and you see where they're at. They're hungry, and the fans are hungry, and I get that. And that's why they selected me to come in here, is to help get that culture back to where it's just a prideful thing where we go out there each and every day and practice at the games. Now it's talk, but we got to make it happen. And unfortunately for me, I was a part of a program in an organization in Kansas City where we kind of came into that same type of deal in 2013. And I got to witness it under Coach Reed on how you do that. So I have my notes, I have my journal, and now I got to put it to use.
Pretty damn impressive soundbite there. And what accompanied that press conference, Nagy's impressive press conference, was what I thought was an impressive performance by Ryan Pace too.
That's one of the most important questions, I think, especially when you're talking to a younger coach. Okay, what's their staff going to look like? And what was good with all the candidates, but with Matt too, was the just the depth that he went through with each candidate. And it wasn't just his staff, and it wasn't just these are the guys, and these are the reasons why, and these are the guys, and this is how they fit together to create a good chemistry amongst the staff, how they balance each other out. So it was here's the names and here's kind of their resumes, but this is the reason why I want them and why they fit together with the chemistry of the staff.
As Andrew Littlefield wrote on Twitter, he asked, did anyone else feel like today was the most honest and genuine Pace has ever been in a press conference? It really feels like he was given the reins with this hire, and I totally agree with Andrew. He went out there, he got his man. When he had dinner with Nagy, it was just the two of them and their wives. McCaskey and Phillips were not there, according to Ryan Pace when he was asked a question who was at the dinner. So I think that perhaps we are at a stage now where Phillips and McCaskey are finally doing the right thing and not meddling, and also making it known to the public, because they've been facing a PR problem, making it known to the public that this is Ryan Pace's team. When it comes to football operations, he is the man. And Phil, I hear you going hallelujah. So, why don't you add to that thought? Because I really think this is a substantial moment in Chicago Bears history.
Well, you went from one of the lowest points you saw him. Even his number one Adora was giving him grief about how he handled the almost teary-eyed letting go and manipulation of truth and just deciding that they're going to move on with Fox. You know, that PR nightmare performance, in my mind, said the same old, and it could get worse. And the guy looked old and really down. Just not the feel that you want coming with the possibility of change. And then you fast forward to how he directed the ship. There was no Teddy or George going out there. In fact, I was joking beforehand with the colleagues DMing that who would introduce who, and George introduced Teddy, Teddy introduced Face, Face introduced the everybody has to get their show at the Face. Yeah, we're going to do it. That same, almost like a cult, underground classic comedy, that same act, it's just shitty and embarrassing at this point when you're losing and you're losing. Didn't do it. Went out there, quickly introduced the head coach, let him speak, then actually address questions thereafter. I thought it felt like the clouds and the smog of Fox really left, has cleared up, and this young, everything we talked about, really. I mean, I know I've sounded like I'm patting us on the back, but it's just the truth. And if Nicky ever got his fucking shit together and started getting these highlights recorded, you could hear me back in fucking October.
Lay off Nicky, man.
Saying, I love you, Nick. But I'm just saying,
computer now, he's set, ready to roll.
Philitoshin on this show with Shane Marsaw talking about we're tired and this is the remedy. Yeah, it is coaching. Yeah, it is coaching. It is knowing what you need to do and how to lead men. We knew the smog that was Fox and how it was covering the PR, how you answered questions after a game, clean up the locker room, extended out the cleanup, and look like dummies. It really, the domino and the plan was absolutely a dumpster fire. And now you're in this mess. And you need a change, and you need to be a little open and be a little honest and be a little humble, because that's what this city needs. Now say what you want and joke around. I'm being fucking dead serious. I believe you speak things to life. You believe it. This is the NFL. You believe that you can fix it, and it gets fixed. It's proven time and time again. Maybe we need to get Magoo on, and he could give a fucking story about that. But the
slow down, Phil.
Please. We love you, Magoo.
But the truthful, honest, peaceful way that a head coach and a GM handle this is they take ownership, and they're truthful. They're truthful with the players. They're truthful with the plan, and they go out and they execute it. Because when you're truthful and you're honest of where you're going to go and what you believe in, it does happen. I've bared witness to it, and it's the human condition. You want to change this? We talked about it. Needed a new head coach. Needed a young, maniacal guy that was going to come in here with a plan to take Mitchell Trubisky as a piece of clay that God gave him every goddamn gift known to man. Good-looking kid, accurate passer, athlete, very good teammate, clearly has an edge and leadership and a competitor, and has those traits that you could build on. Get the right guy there that's not going to hinder him, as we saw so many times happening from the offensive coordinator and the head coach. Ryan Pace today administered CPR to a franchise that was desperate for air. And I feel like Bears Barroom and Philitoshin and Shane Marsaw, who we've suffered. And Aldo, obviously, has suffered longer than us.
That's right.
We can actually breathe again.
Well, Phil, we might have a little bit of good news for our partner in crime here, Mr. Gandia. Although hopefully I'm not stepping on any toes here. Tom Silverstein of the Milwaukee Journey Sentinel just sent out a tweet, and he said, we saw that Mike Penton is going to be the new defensive coordinator up in Green Bay. And Tom Silverstein sent out a tweet that says part of the equation with hiring Packers coach or that Mike McCarthy hiring Mike Patton as the new DC in Green Bay is that the Chicago Bears have put on a full court press to keep Vic Fangio. New head coach Matt Nagy did not want Fangio to get up to Green Bay, assuming he has convinced Fangio to stay in Chicago.
Wow.
And it really seems like all the ducks are kind of getting in a row pointing to that. Gus Bradley has accepted a deal to return to San Diego.
Chargers.
Yeah, or to San Diego, to LA Chargers. Yeah,
there you
still
go.
Stuck in that. And so it really seems like we're going to probably have our assistant head coach. It's going to be really the head coach on the other side of the football. So I know, Aldo, that's got to make you pretty happy.
It makes me really, really happy. I think that the team needs the continuity of Vic Fangio. Now, I was actually talking to my brother Harry about this earlier today because he asked me, what do you think about this subject?
His best friend Larry had a brother Harry. In 3 days, you know, he got married. Vic Fangio.
And I told Harry and his best friend Larry that that, you know, there are other qualified at the time. There were other qualified defensive coordinators who could come in and do a good job with this unit, but it would take some startup time for them to start to gel. The beauty of re-signing Vic Fangio is that the defense is in place. He has a great relationship with those players. When he was asked in early December if he would like to come back, he said yes. And that one of the reasons is because there's a great bunch of guys in that locker room. I love standing up in front of them and talking about football and concepts and getting into conversations with them. So he likes it here. This is just a perfect marriage, and it's just going to expedite the team's wins, given that now we have a great defensive coordinator staying with the team, and now we potentially have a great offensive mind leading the team. Phil.
Sorry, Aldo.
No, that's fine.
I think 2 points to this, too, on top of yours. And Shane's going to be pissed because I'm probably going to steal his nugget. But you gotta recognize, you know, this dude's paid very handsomely for a defensive coordinator. I think $2 million or close to it as a defensive coordinator, showing the McCaskies aren't penny pinchers and completely go out of their way to do what's necessary, like we talked about, because they're going to be paying Fox, they're going to be paying an assistant that doesn't get a job or whatever, and still paying new coaches because there's no cap, and it's the most important thing for your franchise to get right, the coach and the quarterback. So getting Fangio in here as an assistant head coach, now he can come back here with the understanding of his roster, Aldo, but also I know that there was rift between Fox and him, and he felt a little hamstrung by John Fox. That now the team is going to know, oh shit, is the Vic's in charge. He's going to be the assistant head coach or whatever, and he's also going to feel more in control, and that's going to be a good thing for the discipline of this football team and for this defense moving forward. And the other nugget is a guy like Kyle Fuller, who spent a lot of time with Vic Fangio leading up to last season's tremendous performance. There has to feel a feel of cohesiveness and a semblance of, you know, security coming back to a Vic Fangio defense that you excelled in, and you know the expectation of that. So I think those 2 points on top of this, Vic being more power in the locker room, A good head coach allows his coaches to coach and speak and do what they need to do, and then they become the man when it's necessary. And I just think this will be a tremendous move, Aldo, for those 2 points as well.
Shane, you know, a lot of people are not talking about the fact that Virginia McCaskey made an appearance in the press conference. She came in and addressed the media and had some harsh words to say about John Fox. Let me play a little bit of that.
I came here for 2 things, to suck some hard candy and suck some dicks. And blow some motherfucking dicks off. Respect the elderly, motherfucker.
Virginia, we love you, and we hope that we get you a Super Bowl real quickly.
She's fired up, Aldo.
She must be
She sounds Canadian.
Speaking of Canadian, where is my Canadian little sound drop here? Oh man, shit. Timing is everything.
Was Rick Springfield from Canada? What singer was from Canada?
I think Rick Springfield maybe was. Why are you thinking that?
I was just trying to fill up the gap here.
Yeah.
Such a relief. Big hairy gap.
Why don't you stuff some of that in your pillowy area?
What's up, bitches?
Yo, what up?
What are we doing next?
What are we doing next? That's what we wanted to hear from Bears Girl. What are we doing next, guys? I got one more soundbite that I want to play for you guys from Nagy, Matt Nagy. First of all, Shane sent out a tweet saying that some reporter asked him how to pronounce the last name, and what did that tweet say, Shane?
I think it was Pat Finley asked.
Yeah.
It's actually Nagy.
Neggy was the phonetic spelling that he listed.
Yeah, so
really?
So it's Matt Nagy. I'm sure Magoo says it's something ridiculous, with a number in it or something. But that I'm sure he'll tweet that out later. But yeah it's according to Pat Finley when he asked.
I wish that we had Nagy's girl.
Yeah, Coach Matt Nagy.
Yeah, so I want to thank Louis Riddick of ESPN, who kept pronouncing it Nagy and had everybody else in the studio pronouncing it that way. I started pronouncing it that way, and it appears like Louis Riddick, who has known Nagy for 10 years and called him a close friend, has been mispronouncing the guy's last name. It's a lot like something I would do.
Yeah, Brian Urlacher, Mitch Trubinsky.
It's
Trubersky, according to
Nagy in Canada is Nagy, and he must be part Canadian.
Yeah, Nagy, eh?
Nagy, eh?
All right,
what are you talking about?
Nagy
you feeling a little Nagy today?
Nagy was asked about Andy Reid's ability to work with quarterbacks, and Reid has worked with some of the best of the last 20 years.
The quarterbacks you've been around under Andy and so forth, have been Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick a little bit, Alex Smith. They've all had some success. What is the theme, or has there been a constant that Andy has taught you or you've taken away? What do they all have, and what does Mitch Trubisky have to have? Obviously, leadership.
Yeah.
But what is it about? There are different types of guys. What one common thread is there?
They all had a coach that believed in them. And so I'm not saying that that's the case here, but what I'm saying is those guys that you just named, and that's why there's a common theme with Coach Reid. He has a method to his madness of just showing those guys that he believes in them. And then what happens is they understand that he believes in them, and they work on their weaknesses, and they try to get better. They ask questions. They all have different ways of learning. But when words don't do it justice. You have to come and sit in the QB room and listen to how Coach teaches to those guys. And the questions that he asks, he doesn't do all the talking. He lets them give feedback. And so over time that grows, and it makes them become a better player. And then in turn, over the next 10 to 20 years, you get results like that.
Shane, Nagy said that he came to Chicago not because of Mitch Trubisky, although that was part of it, but he came to Chicago because of the team and the organization. But the most important reason we all know is this relationship that he is going to develop with Mitchell Trubisky. And he said some impressive things about how he plans to work with him. But this is the key, isn't it, Shane?
Oh, it's 100% the key. I exchanged a couple of DMs with Dustin during the press conference, and he brought up the same thing you just brought up, Aldo, about him saying that it wasn't all about Mitch, and Dustin actually made a great point for once in his life. he said
we gotta get Dustin on the show.
Yeah, we do for sure.
He said, do you think Nagy would have came here and taken the head coaching gig if Mike Glennon was the starting quarterback? And it's a great point. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have come here for that.
Exactly.
So but I understand. There's a little bit of politics going on there, and he's the head. He's not the quarterback's coach. He's not just the offensive coordinator. He's the head coach now, and you gotta kind of make everybody happy. But Mitch is the most important piece here, and you saw Nagy's eyes light up, and you saw how he was. One thing that stood out with me too, Aldo, and this kind of goes back to what you were talking about, even going back to last year when you were a little bit worried about Trubisky, and I had my reservations as well going back to the quarterback school when he went there with John Gruden, that Mitch didn't really come off all that well. He came off very, very nervous. It was almost like he wasn't really even prepared that well. He seemed a little bit out of his element. I don't know if you noticed today, Nagy actually alluded to that in the 15 minutes at the Combine. He said Mitch came off very scripted, kind of like he was out of his element, and we didn't really know what to think. So when we brought him in for the 6 or 7 hours into Kansas City and just kind of let Mitch be Mitch, you could really see that that's kind of where he fell in love with Mitch Trubisky, the quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, the leader, the player. And you really saw the transformation in Nagy's eyes. I mean, his eyes started to get big. And, you talk about Nagy and Andy Reid and what's something that they've all had in common. He said, a coach that believes in them. And there's also one other thing that something that's similar in all of those guys. That's the ability to get out of trouble on the football field. It's the ability to move when you're talking about a Donovan McNabb, a Michael Vick, even Alex Smith, who there's a lot of comparisons to Mitch Trubisky, even Pat Mahomes. Not saying that he's the fleetest of foot, but these guys all have the ability to move, and Mitch Trubisky's no different. And I think Nagy, I think that's one more thing. We know how the NFL is. We know how defenses are so intricate, and these guys are so big and so fast. You have to have the ability to move, and we've seen it firsthand with Mitch. Sometimes things break down, and he's got the feet to get out of trouble and to gain you positive yards. So that's just one more thing to add to the plus column that I'm sure Nagy really loved to see when he was breaking down Mitch Trubisky, the quarterback. But no, I understood him kind of talking about the whole team and saying it's not just Mitch, but it was way more than 50% Mitch. We'll just put it that way.
Phil?
There's really nothing else. Shane.
Oh my God!
You're speechless? Holy fuck. Did you hear that, Shane? Shane, you left them speechless.
I know it. Jesus, chalk it up.
You gotta, the guy clearly is not going to go out there and show his whole hand. Clearly, I know through two people that he was offered the Colts job as well, that they really wanted him. Mm-hmm. So he made a choice, and usually that choice is based on, can I win there? What possession of personnel and situation, but it always starts with the quarterback. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks to what we saw Dowell be unable to do, and another coach having the pride and the wherewithal to know that I'm going to do what this kid does well, because that's what I coach well. It's a perfect marriage. And really, that's what you want to see, and that's why he's here. And I agree with Shane 100%. It's well over 50% of why he's here is because of Mitchell Trubisky, and everything else falling under that. He doesn't need to admit any of this or whatever, but the young quarterback, the young GM, the young coach, I called it Chicago's new triangle offense, and it really ultimately will be, because 4 years from now, if they're not, or 3 years from now, and 2 years from now, you'll know everything I need to know about Mitchell Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
3 years from now, if you haven't won, then the GM is probably going to be gone, and so will the coach.
Yep.
And that's why it's such a rigorous, hard game, and coaching is so important, because there's a reason why they don't give away $100 million contracts because anybody could coach talent or tell talent what to do. That's just the dumbest, stupidest stuff you ever read. Coaching really is 1A to me, and to everything I know about this game. I know that is the reason why he's here, and it's the relationship with the quarterback. I mean, let's face it, Aldo. Mitchell Trubisky, rookie, he broke all the rookie records. People could say, well, that doesn't mean it. You got to start somewhere. Who's John Gruden before he's John Gruden? Who's Bill Belichick before? He was a joke. He was a cast-off, Browns. Who are these people? You define who you are by making the right decisions. Shane, think about Eric Kramer coming back into this for the younger crowd, coming into this Chicago Bears. They drafted Curtis Conway. They pick up this kid, Jeff Graham, from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's an average receiver. Really reminds me of a lot of Cam Meredith. I think Cam Meredith might be a little bit better athlete. But they put together this offense, and if they had been better coached on defense and what have you, you could have built on that. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. This offseason and free agency, they might not pick up the big-name player. They might pick up the fit. And all of a sudden you get cooking because Cam Meredith's back and somebody actually knows how to use Tariq Cohen the appropriate way, and Jordan Howard. And that is where you need to go, and that's why the coach is so important. What coach in their right mind gets the 3rd and 1 and decides to give the ball to fucking Mike Burton? Seriously. That's a fired coach. That's like the dumbass saying, no, Trubisky, wait. Now, he's not let Mike Glennon stay out there after you've seen 2 games. All I needed to see was 1 game to know this is wrong. Now he's got to learn. What is he learning? He's not learning anything. We're so better for Mitchell playing that part of the reason why that fucking coach is fired is because he didn't have the balls to fucking have an open competition to begin with. Maybe Fox would have been here. Oh my God. No. But everything happens for a reason, Aldo. And we're in a better place for their stupidity in the long run. And that's really, the guy's an offensive guy and a wizard, and that, isn't thrown around loosely. I know Andy Reid has never given away. He could say whatever he wants. This is the best coaching candidate he's ever had underneath him. That's a high praise, because Aldo could go down the list and tweet that out there. Gruden, this one, that one. But that could be just words. That could just be promoting. But actions speak louder than words, where no one has ever taken over the play calling for Reid until Nagy. So that speaks volumes to me. The fact that he's here with Trubisky is a tremendous thing, and that's why he's really here.
What are we doing next?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Phil.
Oh, he's the smartest man, and he can't be beat because he gets more ass than a toilet seat. This is his dumbest tweet of the week.
Damn, more ass than a toilet seat.
Truer words have never been spoken here at the bar room, Aldo.
That's impressive.
I fucked up because I wanted to say more European ass than a toilet seat. But I think Ela could forgive me.
I think that it worked out better. No offense to Ela. All right, Shane, who you got?
Oh, these dumbest tweets. There was a whole bunch of them. So I have a little screenshot of a bunch of them here. But one came through today after the press conference that kind of stuck out to me pretty well. And that is from @ProFootballTalk. I think everybody knows that wonderful resource for NFL news, Mr. Florio himself.
That motherfucker's got to go.
Who was once played by a bunch of Chicago Bears fans. Phil, you probably forgot about this, but I'll fill you back in on it. Do you remember way back in the day when Jerry Angelo was possibly talking to Nick Saban, and we some people in our little group emailed Mike Florio and told him that they were at an airport and they just saw Jerry Angelo and Nick Saban talking in a room, and Mike Florio ran in the beginning days of Pro Football Talk and plastered it all over his website. None of it was true. So that's a little bit of history for Mike Florio and Pro Football Talk.
We call that to this day pulling a lemon.
Yeah. So yes, the dumbest tweet of the week that came out today is, like I said, it's from @Pro Football Talk after the press conference was over. And @Pro Football Talk tweeted out, Matt Nagy's press conference was a bit dull and formulaic. Gruden's press conference makes me want to run through a wall, or at least run into a wall. And I tweeted him back and I said, please go ahead and run into that wall. You're an idiot. And we've spent the last hour here talking about how refreshing this all was, and it's not that we're not just sitting up here talking a bunch of bullshit and making up lies and just trying to inspire the fans, like I said, with bullshit. We actually, I think we're all refreshed with what we heard today. But this kind of this goes back to the whole national media wanting to poo-poo the Chicago Bears almost every move. Mm-hmm. And yes, you saw the rock star treatment that John Gruden got, and that's all fine, and that's fantastic. I was more impressed with Matt Nagy's press conference today. I watched both of them. John Gruden's didn't really. It seemed very scripted, and part of it seemed like it was. They were trying to come off like you're at a comedy show or something like that.
His act, yeah.
And it was a big act, and
felt like a scene from
it did.
What's it, Varsity Blues or
or Dumb and Dumber
Any
with the
Given Sunday.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber with the haircut.
Hey, hair. You want to hear the second most annoying sound in the world? Sure. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. No, not that.
What the hell are you doing ringing our doorbell like that in the middle of the night?
That!
Yeah.
His brother's a big-time barber in Chi-Town.
Yeah, maybe they can hook them up and get rid of that bowl cut.
Fade. Get a fade.
Something. They got to do something. So yeah, for my first dumb tweet @Pro Football Talk, I didn't see anything dull formulaic about Nagy's press conference today. Like I said, it was refreshing, and in terms of Bears fans and a lot of people that I respect around Twitter, I think that they were pleasantly surprised with the way that things unfolded, not just with Nagy, but with Ryan Pace himself too. So, Pro Football Talk, you are one of my dumbest tweets of the week.
You're an asshole, you know what?
Bang!
What a fucking dumb. I mean, that's like isolating to try to belittle the Bears and the Bears fan base by saying that. Like, it wasn't even necessary, despite what you said, Shane, not being true. Like, who takes it upon themselves as a serious football site to compare the two?
Yeah,
now, if he just came out of there and said, Gruden's presser really got me amped up, then I could live with you being so fucking cheesy and corny. But the fact that you fucking took it upon your pussy-ass fucking Nordstrom lawyer, attorney, whatever the fuck you are in West Virginia, is a fucking showcase that you are a fucking scumbag, fraternity little fucking prick. And that's what I feel about that.
And to make it even worse, he followed it up. He followed it up with another tweet. I don't have it right here in front of me, but so I can't give it to you verbatim. But he sent out another tweet that said, if Chicago really would have planned this right, they should have never scheduled Nagy's introductory presser for 1 hour before Gruden's, because it just made everything look worse.
Are we competing in a breakdancing battle next too?
Well, that's what I tweeted him back.
Doing here?
I tweeted him back too.
Did?
I just said, I said, now you're breaking down press conference times, more at 11. So it's just it's ridiculous, and
oh my god,
none of it means too much. I think they just do it to get clicks and to fire up the fan bases, and unfortunately we're all dumb enough to let it work and we get all fired up. But it doesn't mean that we can't call them out on our show either. So
Aldo, Gruden has had a master's course in dealing with the media for the last 9 years. That's what he is a member of. So it's basically getting up there. I know what I'm doing. I'm coming back. I've got a $100 million contract. I've got this fucking franchise by the balls. I was big time at ESPN. I could do no wrong. I could wax poetic about the shittiest player for 25 minutes. And if I want to hate someone, I could do the same thing for 40 minutes. He owns the room. It's like comparing, Beyonce and some freaking new artist coming out. Everyone's going to laugh at the new artist.
Yesterday I found out about you. Even now just looking at you feels wrong. You say that you'll take it all back. Give me one chance.
The fact of the matter is the reputation is what it is. So it was just a cheap shot, and it was just dumb. And I'm glad you brought that one up, Shane.
Yeah, this smells of a reporter who wasn't really paying attention to Nagy's press conference. He was probably half listening. He was probably watching some porn at the same time. He didn't if you were to ask him questions, at what point did Nagy start to tear up, he'd probably say he started to tear up. At what point did what did he say exactly about Trubisky?
Exactly.
He wouldn't know. He paid attention to only bits and pieces, and so he came away uninspired, and that just makes him an asshole. So
yeah, he probably never heard Jenny McCaskey talk about sucking dick at any point today either.
I came here for two things: to suck some hard candy and suck some dicks.
He's fucking watching Aldo's niece fucking on his fucking computer.
My second cousin, let's be straight about it now. Stephanie West, Naughty America.
Are we going to get some sponsorship by Naughty America?
Yeah, we have to, because everybody's been clicking on that site to listen to her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's the smartest man. He once hated commercials so much, he invented the TiVo. Predicting future coaches like he's the son of Miss Cleo. He's the smartest man, and this is his dumbest tweet.
Oh my God! You need to go interview for a job down in Miami with Dowell. I think after that one.
Oh, you fucking ruined a great fucking.
We've thrown rhyming completely out the window. Let's just fucking do away with it.
It's that Hofstra education. It's like you puked all of it out the window, right, Aldo?
You guys talked all over my fucking. You came in late to the fucking song. You didn't even hear the rhyme.
You didn't have it.
No, we didn't. I definitely didn't hear any rhyme there.
Let me say it again.
Okay, hold on. Let me play the music again.
Don't talk. Just listen. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the bear girl energy. Hold on, I'll be right back. He once hated commercials so much, he invented the TiVo, predicting future coaches like he's the son of Miss Cleo. The dumbest tweet of the week.
All right, I gotta give it to you.
The guy predicted the coach in October.
I gotta give it to you that it sounded better on your second take, but you still gotta perform when the pocket is not clean, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Gave me you snapped the ball. I wasn't ready. It went up in my head. I caught it with one fucking hand. I'm running around scrambling because fucking Leno's still in his stance.
It was a Matt Barkley type performance. It kind of surprised everybody a little bit, but then he went out and threw 5 interceptions. So.
That's right.
For some reason, Aberdeen is gonna love that one. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Shane, what do you got?
Okay, for the second and probably dumbest tweet of the week, this guy's name is Trash, and it's equal. It's true to what his tweet
true
was.
To form?
Yeah, and it's at @CallRiskChin, and he sent out a tweet on January 8th that said, Jordan Howard disappeared versus good teams, and Tariq Cohen hasn't proven anything yet.
No, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Trash, I'm not sure what you really watched this year, and I'm not sitting here trying to say that Tariq Cohen, dominated every single game, and I'm not even going to sit here and say that about Jordan Howard, but to me it's pretty obvious that you haven't really watched football and that you're probably not a Chicago Bears fan, probably a Packers fan that just wants to throw some hate out there because you're uninformed and like to tweet out trash. But this is really one of the dumbest tweets of the year, and I think I'll let our fans in on a little Easter egg. I think this isn't the last time you're going to hear from this tweet. I won't really say anything more, but I'll just throw that little Easter egg. So Mr. Trash, I think you might be hearing from him a little bit later in the show.
Take out the papers and the trash.
Yep, a little bit of history made here at the bar room. Maybe a little double winner coming up. We'll see what happens.
He's throwing fucking spoiler alerts.
Yeah, a little spoiler alert.
The alarm.
Oh my God!
You dumb. You're really stupid.
Oh Lord, I'm a believer in Christ.
So yeah, @CallRiskChin. Ugh. What the fuck, dude?
That is
pathetic.
I mean, so much emphasis on "cuh."
Thank God that his tweet was so shitty. It took some of the focus off of Phil's lackadaisical effort there on my segment to lead into me. So take
a shot at your boy. There's a new dawn. There's a new day. There's a new light.
So yes, Trash, you are the dumbest tweet of the week.
Yeah, I got a special message for Trash from Virginia McCaskey.
Time to move into a home. A funeral home, cocksucker.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Can we get a little Aldo's mom? Fuck John. Fuck.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Aldo.
No worries. Last one.
Last one. Hey, you got a good one here, man. I hope you.
Better be my fucking tweet. I've been fucking hitting them out of the park. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's the smartest man. Well, he thought he found Waldo, but instead it was Aaron Lemming, covering all his bases like a washed-up Roger Clemming. But instead, it's time to bring the tweet of the week.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you just change Hall of Fame baseball player's last name to fit into your rhymes there completely?
Absolutely.
Is that what happened?
You gotta do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
So let's 2 Hall of Famers in one fucking showcase. And I'm talking about you, Shane, and Roger.
Roger Clemming? Is he related to Shane McClellan?
Roger Clement. You gotta say it, Clement.
All right, let's move off of this part so we can give Phil a week to recuperate and write down some decent rhymes for me next week. But we're gonna jump into our best tweet of the week here, and this is a guy that he's making his debut. It's a guy I think we all know, and that is Mr. Raul Bennington at _42. Raul making his debut on the best tweet of the week. We saw Pro Football Talk send out their dumb tweet saying that Nagy was a bit dull, and well, Raul didn't seem to think that was true. He sent out a tweet and he said, "What I like most about Coach Nagy is he looks like a disgruntled alcoholic substitute teacher with a minor coke problem. Those guys are often the best coaches." And that I thought there was a lot of truth to that. You could see a little bit of the wear and tear building up on Nagy. It looked like a little bit of the stress from the loss, and then having the biggest interview of your life a few short hours later, and going through that whole process and having to interview with the Bears, and then having to change fucking rooms and go interviewing with the Indianapolis Colts, lack of sleep, and fly in private back to Chicago. So I thought that was a pretty funny description that Raul put out there about our coach. It just kind of makes him sound like a grinder, and I don't think he's actually I don't think he's got a coke habit or anything like that. Let's just hope not, and hopefully he's not an alcoholic either. But I thought that was pretty funny, that the way that Raul broke it down, and nothing wrong with a little bit of humor in football. That especially after the way that Mr. Atoshin didn't step up into the pocket tonight with my segment. So Raul Bennington, you are my best tweet of the week.
Damn, lower the fucking volume on that fanfare.
Steak and whiskey, the Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey, that Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey, that Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey, that Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Who needs pussy? That Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Who needs pussy? Come on, barflies. They need Bears, they know they do. They need pussy. The Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Yeah, you love that steak and that fucking whiskey. Coming from the colonel of the barflies busy. He looks at the frauds in the media, the ones that need and don't get pussy like chlamydia. Bears 100 proof with your man Trey Busy. Discover who needs pussy cause the football team is shitty. Chi-Town's finest coming real on 100 proof. Working on a skyscraper, listen to the bar. Spit the truth, waffle cone, get 3 scoops. A writer, not a blogger cause he could bench the weight room. That's my boy Trey Biz, dropping truth on these suckers for the barfly whiz kids. Whiskey, the Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey, the Bears barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey,
there he is.
What's
up, fellas? Steak and whiskey, motherfucker.
Did you see the breaking news, Trey? John Fox was just named our defensive coordinator.
Man, I wouldn't let that motherfucker coordinate a kids party. Fuck that.
Hey, we've been hearing some reports that members of the Chicago Bears organization, players and organization members, are a fan of 100 Proof, and in particular, your segment, Steak and Whiskey. And so we asked the organization if Virginia McCaskey wouldn't mind introducing your segment, Steak and Whiskey. And so she gave me a call, and I recorded this.
I gotta turn my hearing aid off. Shit's about to get loud. Ah, you motherfuckers.
So that's Virginia. She loves steak and whiskey, and
yeah, I think she wants your steak, Trey.
Hey, you know what, man? She can't handle that kind of steak. She gotta go ahead. She better stick to them prune juice or some shit.
You gotta take one for the team, Trey.
She better go get her some tapioca or some shit.
Show her a good time, Trey.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I heard, man, ain't nothing like when they take the dentist out their mouth, though. That's what I heard, man. That's what I heard. I ain't never experienced that.
Ronnie, the limo driver.
Yeah, Ronnie Mund. Yeah.
We're all going to hell. We're all going to hell, guys.
And I was watching that fucking Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man and shit. When the fucking his fucking neighbor asked him, give him a sexual favor, and he had to say yes, and she took the motherfuckers out.
Just relax. Unhandle this.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, no! Oh, my! Oh! Wow! That... Oh! Wow! How do you do that?
You gotta be safe.
Fuck that, dude.
All right, Trey, what do you got for us this week? Let me play your theme music under the background, and you take it away whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, me and Shane talked about it. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I asked him. I was like, "Should I take it or should he take it?" And this was so bad. This is like terrible, dude. Like, I didn't even really go after the guy like I should have. But the guy's name on Twitter is Karishin. I don't know. That's fucking retarded in itself. But apparently, Jordan Howard disappeared versus good teams, and Tariq Cohen hasn't proven anything on the field. So,
Jesus.
I don't know if he's been like locked up inside some type of time chamber over the last whole season. He must have missed the whole season for him to say that stupid shit. Because Tariq Cohen has shown something literally every time he stepped on the field, even when he doesn't get the fucking football.
Yep.
He draws the defenses to him, which opens it up for other players. That's why I say I would never take his ass off the field. I don't give a fuck how tired he is. He's staying on the field. Jordan Howard has had monstrous games against playoff teams this year.
Exactly. We don't even win against Pittsburgh without him. Carolina, Ravens.
He had to go ahead win touchdowns in both those overtimes. How the fuck has he, Well, okay, no. In the Baltimore Ravens, he had that big run in overtime. He didn't get the touchdown, but that was a huge fucking
that was
run.
the key of the whole game.
How about
the Minnesota game, Trey, when the fucking ref decided to throw two phantom holding penalties in the first game with Trubisky's first start? That would change the whole context of the game.
Literally. Like, I think that game against the Ravens, Jordan Howard actually adopted somebody that day. He made Eric Weddle his son. Because after he threw him off, after he broke that tackle and threw him on the ground like that, I was like, oh my God, dude. You get no respect. You're supposed to be a good safety.
That's a great safety too.
And now he's a Jordan Howard son now. So hope he got him something good for Christmas. Yeah, I mean the Tariq Cohen hasn't proven anything, and Jordan Howard disappeared versus good teams. I don't know. This guy must be a virgin or something. He must have never had pussy before. There's no way you could tell me this guy had pussy before. There's no way. He don't know football. You're not getting any pussy. Like, dude need to just turn his life around, man. He need to go ahead and just, I don't know what he gotta do. Hit up a high school crush or something. Like, I don't know, man.
He needs a woman with no teeth.
He need to holler at, he need to holler at Virginia McCaskey that had to take them dentures out, put them in the little glass on the table.
Oh no!
You know?
What did I start?
You know what? Okay, I take that back. He don't need to holler at her. You know what? You're right. My bad, Aldo. I forgot.
No. Hey, I'm not censoring anybody here, man.
I forgot, man. You're right. That's disrespectful. I apologize, George. That's your mom. You know.
Virginia's mad again.
She gets pissed, man.
She got rid of Fox. She got rid of Fox.
If she had a strong enough prescription with her glasses, she'd probably see this tweet and probably lose her shit, man. Because these are two of the best running backs in the fucking, this is the best running back tandem in the NFC North and arguably one of the top 2 or 3 in the fucking whole league. I don't give a fuck what anybody say.
I agree with you.
Take away those penalties from Tariq Cohen's runs and big plays. Oh my God, dude. His stats would be incredible.
Oh man.
This dude just, I don't know, man. He don't know football. He don't get pussy. He need to just, man.
So that's our Bears barroom history being made right there. We got our first double winner. 2 different segments.
What do we call it?
The dumbest tweet.
Bear down. I mean, the dumbest tweet of the week.
Yeah.
And the needing the pussy week. So this is like a record holder.
Yeah.
Well, he said two absolutely absurd things, so it's only right that 2 people went after it. Those are two of the most absurd sayings I've ever fucking read. Ever.
Guy's a big Mike Burton fan.
Nah, man. the guy that was doing. Hey, you know what, Phil? When we were talking that game on Christmas Eve when he did that ballerina little spin or whatever, that shit was so fucking funny, man. God. That was the funniest shit in the world. It was snowing out. This motherfucker out there doing the damn nutcracker dance.
Mike Burton doing a twist. He's fucking playing chubby checkers, looking for the next guy to block.
Motherfucker out there doing goddamn
fucking Dowell's okay with it. That's the scary
hopscotch and shit.
We're watching tape. Fucking this guy's doing the fucking twist again. Like, who do I block? Who do I block? Like, this is the fucking NFL. Am I the only one pointing this shit out? Like, coach?
This guy makes more money than me just to spin around on the field and not hit nobody. That's unbelievable.
Fucking A. The fucking Mike Burton Awards.
This dude, he's the first annual one then. This dude he's the first annual Mike Burton Awards.
There you go.
There you go.
Got it. Dude, give him a Burton. He's getting a Burton. He's getting a Burton.
He's getting a Brzezinski.
A Grisou.
All right, just to let our listeners know what we are going to do next is Bear Up, Bear Down, a very special edition of Bear Up, Bear Down, where we're going to make predictions. The three guys are going to make predictions on who's going to be their Bear Up next season, 2018 season, and who is potentially going to be a disappointment, their Bear Down. And because I need to run downstairs and get a beer, I'm going to play the long version of the music.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Aldo.
Yes, Aldo. Give it to Shane, that motherfucker. Psychic ass. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Bears Barroom Radio. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up. This week, Draft Dr. Phil and Shane Marsaw, the smartest man in the bar rooms. Bear ups and bear downs of the week. A bear up, a bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around there watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost and won. They're playing the tape and grading. Bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around there watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost or won. They're playing. The boys are grading. Cheeto blockies, I take them out like my girlfriend. Smack 'em, flip 'em, and stick 'em until you can't bend. Till then I'm still I got hype credential. Barflies blown out fraud brothers like Nintendo. 5'7" kind of a small one, but I still store bums. Key suckers in doldrums. As I'm speaking and taking a change in my English, I quickness to get rich. I like chalk, but not just Connecticut in the house, but the barrooms where I live. I'll bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. I'll bear up, bear down. This is another fulfilling, functified track. Yes, yes.
Trey, any idea what functified means?
I'm just glad it's fucking over.
I like that song, man. Although, I wouldn't mind cutting a minute out of it.
He's such a jealous little bitch. No, big. He is tall.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's spin the bottle and see who goes first. We always start with bear up because that's how the song goes. Bear up, bear down. The bottle says Shane Marsaw begins with his bear up.
Hey. I'm gonna piss everybody off, and I know Trey's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" It's Tariq Cohen. Easy. Both you fuckers are gonna take him. I know it.
No, I actually wasn't.
It's too easy. I don't think we can find. We're talking about Tariq Hill and KC and Nagy deploying him in every way imaginable. Phil brought it up that Cohen's not. He doesn't have the pure speed that Hill does, but he's just as explosive. And I think you're going to see him deployed in every way imaginable in 2018 in the Matt Nagy offense, and it's going to benefit Mitch Trubisky. It's going to just benefit the offense as a whole. It's going to even help Jordan Howard. Can you imagine we're not going to have this guy sitting on the sidelines on third down while Benny Cunningham is out there? Just imagine that. That's just going to help.
What about Michael Burton though?
Oh yeah, we got to lock him up. Got to lock him up.
You gonna be out there, man? Single back set, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need that plotter out there. But no, I think
belly dive.
I think Tariq Cohen is gonna. I think he's got to be he's a pretty outgoing, boisterous guy anyway, and I think he's just got to be loving life even more now that we have an offensive mind, in here that's going to you don't even really have to scheme that guy open. He's just going to be a guy that gets open just because of his traits anyway, and it's going to be fun to watch. So to me, that's the Phil always was taking the easy way out with giving Mike Burton the bear down the last 6 weeks, and this is just as easy for me to make Tariq Cohen my bear up for 2018.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice.
So wait a minute. Shay, you say we're not going to see no more fullback dives on 3rd and 3?
No, we're going to save them for 4th and 1, like we saw. Yeah,
I can't wait.
No, that story's done, Trey.
That story, it better be done.
Really? Darn, man.
All right, Trey, who do you got as your bear up?
Oh, man. See, Shane said it was easy. He picked somebody. I thought about him, but it wasn't as easy as this dude.
Now I'm fucked. That's all I could say.
You're not, Phil. You're not fucked because there's 3 that were real easy. But I'm gonna go for the reason why a lot of people say we went offensive coach. The guy whose ass is he can save or cause Ryan Pace to lose his job. This is how important this is for him to have a good season. Mitch Trubisky.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I thought you were going to go with Mike Glennon.
Hey, if Mike Glennon is on this team next year, dude, I'm telling you.
Zero shot. 0 shot.
0.0.
You guys going to be Googling good lawyers if he's on this team next year because I'm fucking some shit up.
Do they have the Mark E. Salamone and Morelli commercials out there or no?
Go to Mark E. Salamone. They will get you what you deserve. And yes, they do mean business. They helped me. We won.
Call 1-800-1. The law offices of Mark E. Salamone right now.
But anyway, Mr. Trubisky better have he don't have to have like a elite climb, But come on, we got to see more than 7 touchdowns thrown. I want him to have. See me, I'm selfish. I want to see 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 4,500 yards. That's what I want to see. But that's not gonna happen. At least I don't think it's gonna happen. But
let me hear what you think. Give us what you think.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the right wide receivers. Spread out the defense, get out of 8-man boxes, let Jordan Howard open it up a little bit more. It could all become one finely tuned engine. And this man will be able to get out there. He has the talent and the ability to do that. That's not out of the question. There's a reason why Ryan Pace did what he did to make sure he came the Chicago Bear. There's a reason why he traded what he did. They moved up one spot to make sure this man comes to Chicago because he feels like this player is going to turn the franchise around. He is going to make us relevant offensively. He's going to take us to the promised land. That's what he feels like. And I feel the same way. Just from what I've seen. Just from me seeing what I've seen from him, listening to him talk, the way he criticizes himself, how hard he goes on himself, like what he expects from the team. Like you just feel like he's going to be that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 4,500 yards. I wouldn't be surprised.
How sad would it be if to think it would be 2018 and the Chicago Bears would have their first quarterback in history to throw for 30 touchdowns. It's never happened, ever. Phil brought up Eric Kramer earlier. We're talking about the offensive explosion, and then you bring in Jay Cutler. And I think Jay topped out at, 28? And I think Kramer get to 29, or maybe he was 28 also. And he talked about a franchise that's been around since 1921, and they've never made it to a 30 touchdown season for a quarterback. It shows you how inept they've been on that side of the ball for decades, way back to when Gandia was born back in the 20s.
Well, I mean, if you think about if he plays the full season, which he should have played this full season and just passed, but we're not going to talk about that in the past now. If he plays the full season, all you got to do is get fucking 2 touchdowns a game.
I agree.
With the weapons he has, with the weapons that they're going to obviously bring in, they're obviously going to bring in wide receivers. All right. God forbid we get the fucking week 1 and Kevin White is a number 1 wide receiver. I would literally lose my shit, dude. Like, I'm telling you. I'll have to get I'll be in a fucking padded mattress room with my fucking arms tied up with a fucking coat if that happens. I'm just saying, man. 30 touchdowns will not be impossible for fucking Trubisky.
You guys want him to throw 30 touchdowns, and you're talking about getting rid of Mike Burton. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Hey, look. Hey, that wheel route, man. I'm in the red zone. I'm telling you. Mike Burton.
How about that flat route when he's supposed to run the deep flag? He's sitting there in the flat. He fucking did a pirouette there on that route, too.
That's right.
Fucking Alan Page could have suited up and fucking run it.
All right, Phil, who do you have as your bear up?
Well, this is tough because they took my 2. So I'm looking at this, and I just want to mention one guy and kind of cheat the system. I think Cody Whitehair is going to be blessed because I think
Magoo's going to fuck you up.
This football coach is going to understand that you don't move a center that's that talented around. He is the commander-in-chief of your front. And if there's injuries elsewhere, pick up a fucking veteran guard. Get someone off the street. Make a fucking trade for somebody. Don't move your center. And I feel like that's going to come to fruition in regards with Nagy. I feel like he understands that. And as an offensive guy, I just don't see that that's not going to happen. It'll be interesting to see how they set up the offensive line. But the guy that I think really is going to be benefiting from this and this administration of stupidity and little dumber boy, just how he handled it. It was just awful. And I think I'm going to roll with rookie tight end Adam Shaheen.
Yes.
Say what you want. I have a feel. Watch tape. I know
that's my boy, man.
I know Trey and Shane agree with me here, but I gotta say, when you attack seams, you understand the importance of being able to put those safeties on an island. Look at the national championship game. The threat of the all goes, putting that safety on an island with your quarterback acting out the action, staring down the safety and freezing them in a game of inches. Championships plays come from that. And look no further than the New England Patriots and the kind of weapon they have down the seams. This guy showcases speed at the stem for that size. So if you can really imagine a wide receiver that's 6'1", 200 pounds, we'll say, getting to the stem and turning and having that kind of speed, it offers a great mismatch. Now think about a guy that's 6'7", close to 270 pounds, moving like a 200-pound wide receiver, getting to that stem and having the body mass to wall off a defender and force flags, force contact, and really threaten people deep with his... he runs choppy, but he is fast and quick in the route. There's no denying it. And when used appropriately, this football player is going to surprise. I know he got hurt. I was so disappointed that he didn't get to play those last 2 games because I really felt like he, and I know Shane and I talk about this, typical Bears, the guy fucking gets hurt against the Bengals, having the best game. And you think like he's taking a step and he's the roommate of the quarterback. That means something to me. Rookie tight ends take a little bit more time. Not everyone can come in here and be Gronkowski off the rip. And when you have an offensive coordinator that's philosophy is guesswork, then you don't know how to use your weapons. I don't want the defense defining who we are. No. Cohen giving a double team should free up Shaheen and others, not hinder. It's just that kind of stupidity that transpired here. And admitting that you're stealing plays from past, like, draw up your own fucking shit. do what you need to do to assess, and that didn't happen. And I think you're going to see Shaheen be that guy. So he is my bear up for 2018 with Mitchell Trubisky's and Nagy's new offensive philosophy coming to Chicago.
3 good names, although I'm going to be honest with you guys. They were a bit predictable.
Hello, motherfucker.
I mean, come on.
Hey,
those are pretty predictable. I was expecting something like Marcus Wheaton, or...
oh, my God.
Oh, you're stupid. You just dumb.
Hey.
I'll leave the
Hey, but you know what, though? He might actually, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a fucking office coordinator that can scheme him open now.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got the speed.
And
Yeah,
we'll put him in the doghouse for whatever the fuck Fox put him in the doghouse for, because that was ridiculous. The guy was healthy and he's getting 4 snaps a game. Get out of here with that shit.
1 snap a week and shit.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell?
$6 million of the season, 3 catches.
I got to be honest. Phil threw me a curveball. I didn't think he was going with Shaheen. I really thought Phil was going to bust out Roy Robertson Harris, because I think he was a guy that I was.
Another one.
He was going to be. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more offensively, because of this transition. That I can't express this enough. Real quick,
it's going to be night and day.
Offensive coordinator, it's going to be night and day. Exactly.
Thank God.
I'm not even worried, because honestly, how many times on this show, fucking Nikki, get the fucking recorder? How many times on the show did I say, Aldo, they got to trade? And one thing to address one of the fucking fans that was debating me, scheme open is a fan thing to say. No, you don't know what it is because you never coached and you've never seen it because you've decided to be a fan of the Bears with Dowell Loggins. And I'll give Trestman some credit. There is games that on tape he schemed players open. He understood how to move a Brandon Marshall.
2 games.
All right, he knew how to move a Brandon Marshall, put him in the spot. And that's really truthful. 2 more than Dowell Loggins, for that sake.
That's true.
Let's go to this, Coach. And what we talk about is trading, formations, recognizing coverage, and where you're going to get the shallow cross. And you're going to put your fastest guy, that's going to be Tariq Cohen. He's explosive. You're going to man it up, and you're going to get him to be able to be an easy catch and run. And that's what we're talking about. Scheme people open.
What are we doing next?
What are we doing next is bear down. Shane, who is your bear down player for 2018? This is the player that you think is going to disappoint us, maybe not make the team, or maybe make the team and just not play well. Who are you predicting for 2018?
This is a little tough because I think there's so many. With any big change, that comes with the coaching staff, especially, I think you're going to see a lot of guys like we've just been trashing here for the last 45 minutes, like Mike Burton. You're going to see these guys go out. But when I think bear down, and maybe you guys are going to think this is the easy way out, but I'm focused on the kicking game. And I really have no confidence in that situation for 2018, because I don't know if they're going to resort back to Cairo Santos. What they're going to do if they're going to go out and try to acquire a undrafted free agent kicker. Hopefully they don't draft one and make that mistake. But I guess they put Santos on IR, so it's pretty likely they probably have a wink, nod deal with him to bring him back for 2018. But with his, I believe it was his groin issues, and unfortunately, ever since even Robbie Gould's last couple of seasons here, there was a lot of erratic kicking, and we've seen, we lived the Connor Barth experiment. I almost had to have a heart attack last night with the Alabama field goal kicker. So I see a lot of
the Georgia kicker, Shane.
Yeah, just for the glasses alone, right?
Holy cow! This dude buries kicks. Though,
yeah, that dude might need to get some pussy. He might need to get some. He might need some pussy too, right, Trey? With those glasses.
Hey, you know what? hey, Mike Nugent had something before that last game. Oh, he hit a 55-yarder, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Ask Shane, what
What
about
had the pussy before that game?
I feel like Nugent is a good kicker. I feel like he's a football player.
Yeah, and
you don't like him?
Well, I don't know. We'll see what
Scrap
they do.
Heap.
He's
story,
35
Disney
years
movie.
old. He's going to be 36 years old, and we'll see. And that last game he kicked the 55-yarder?
Yeah.
Was that in Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where that was? Yep.
In Minnesota,
yeah.
He started off, his first kick was an extra point he missed. And then he hit every kick thereafter.
Yeah, Connor Barth did the same thing in his debut, and Cairo Santos missed his first one, and that seems to be a staple, and that's another bullseye on Ryan Pace. They gotta get that. They gotta
get a
figure
punter
something out.
in here too, Shane.
They gotta provide
competition.
They gotta provide competition. We hear mega punt, and I think you want to talk about an overrated term because he bounced a couple of footballs off the scoreboard in the Walter Payton Center. Who fucking cares? Trey, I think you know what I'm talking about. You and I actually tweeted the same thing. Pat O'Donnell, he had his best punt of his career. That might have been the Minnesota game when he knocked it out at the 1 or the 2 yard line. I think it was maybe it was versus Detroit. I can't remember exactly, but it's Ryan Pace is really omitted to bring in proper competition at kicker and at punter, and I hope that's rectified. But my bear down is really the kicking situation because I don't really have any confidence in it right now, and I really don't know what direction they're going to be going. I'm assuming Santos will be back, but who knows how that's going to play out.
There's a couple of free agents out there that could be interesting. Ryan Sukup, and who's the other guy that I was looking at? Somebody else anyway, but there are going to be some options.
You know what kills me the most about Pat O'Donnell is like they do call him mega punt, but it'd be sometimes when they do will have to be like a insignificant punt or like a mini punt. This motherfucker kick the shit and go like 20 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You supposed to be a big, strong dude, and you kick the bitch 20 yards? Come on,
he doesn't have consistency, and that's why he needs to get
He has the slowest release from catching the ball to getting the ball off, the slowest release in the NFL. I'd love to – I don't know if there's anybody out there that tracks that, but he is slow as hell getting rid of that football. It drives me nuts.
Maybe Calculator Kent.
Yeah, maybe we'll send him a
score.
We'll send him a DM and see what he says.
That dude.
Yeah. So
see if you can get him.
my bear down is definitely the kicking situation in Chicago for 2018 because my confidence is just not there.
Trey Busy, who is your bear down player for 2018?
All right, I'm about to shock everybody. I'm about to shock the world. The whole Twitter sphere is about to erupt. But in order for what I said for my bear up to happen, this is inevitable for this to happen. My bear down, and not because of talent, for 2018 is going to be Jordan Howard.
What the fuck?
And the only reason I say Jordan Howard is going to be a bear down is because if the passing game does get going, like how I think it's going to get going, they're not going to run the ball as much. He might still get like 1,000 yards, but it's not going to be like he's not going to have the amount of touches that he had this year. They're not going to just keep run because the passing game's not working. The passing game is going to be going. So, therefore, they're not going to rely on the run as much as they have. So, I believe Jordan Howard will have like a down year, but it's not taking away from his talent. It's a good thing for that balance. It's a good thing for the team, he doesn't need to fucking keep running against 8-man boxes. Only God knows how long his body is going to survive doing that. So, I think Jordan Howard is going to be better down for next year.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
All right, you did shock the fucking shit out of me because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
That's gonna rival Matt Leinart here at the bar room.
Straight shocking the shit out of me.
Well, I think he makes an interesting point here in that in terms of rushing attempts, they're probably going to reduce, but I gotta believe that the attempts may reduce, but he might actually get more yards. He might have fewer negative yards, but we'll see. It's an interesting pick, no doubt. Phil, who do you got?
Holy cow! He's shocked the shit out of me.
Hey,
I wasn't expecting that.
I gave a warning, though.
I respect the warning.
Yeah, I think you got to add in Tariq Cohen to that though too, Trey, because he's gonna swipe some carries along the way.
If used correctly, yes, he will. He's not going to be sitting on the bench holding his helmet.
Yep. No Benny Cunn.
Good. Shit.
I can't even use Benny Cunn as my fucking down.
Well, I mean, technically you can because he'll be gone. So
yeah, well,
that is kind of down.
Ain't no easy way out. I'm gonna
Michael Burton.
No, I'm not gonna use Michael Burton. I'm gonna break the tradition since we're giving him his own double award. Is a Burton.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of choices. Mike Giraffe Gaff Glennon could come into this equation. But I'm going to look at one guy, and it really falls like a crossroads for the GM. And that, to me, is Hronis Grasu. And here's why. When I watch him on tape, he's terrible. He is a menace to the blocking scheme. He's a weak link. He's your game plan for that week. And those are the kind of guys you don't want on your football team. He just can't do it. He can't do what you're asking him to do, whether he's playing hurt or what have you. But also, I'm saying this on Ryan Pace as well, because at some point, as a general manager, as a young one, you need to understand when it is time to cut bait and own your mistakes. Take a little measure from your head coach as he stood before the media and took ownership of the play calls. You're going to have to admit your mistakes. And the goal from this fucking day forward should be finding the best 53 football players and playing only the best.
Phil, what about special teams?
Yeah.
Sherrick McMahon. Our boy Bellamy, man. Come on.
Bellamy. How many of these special teamers, how many of these weak characters are you going to keep on the roster that take away the process of rebuilding? As Aldo said, you should have taken ownership of rebuilding. You should take ownership of your personnel by helping rebuild, by giving a roster spot away to a Hronis Grasu. You might have found a center out there on somebody's practice squad that could have came in a pinch and helped you. But instead, you neglected the offensive line. You've done a disservice to your football team for the coaching as well as the personnel decisions. So for me, unless this guy just gets in the weight program, a powerlifting program, or does fucking CrossFit as soon as he gets out every day, there's no way that this football player should be on this roster based on what we've seen now. I'm going to give the Jim Carrey. So you're saying there's a chance. There is a chance. Grasu has to look in the mirror and decide if he's a fucking NFL football player. Because right now, the tape says no, and everything about him says no. So Ryan Pace has... and his new coach. Now he's got the excuse, well, coach is going in a different direction. Let's just be honest, straightforward. You fucked up, or this football player needs to come in and address it. So he, to me, right now, Aldo, is my bear down for next year.
Hey, Phil, I just want to say one thing. First of all, I hate people that do CrossFit. I really do. I hate people that do CrossFit. I hate vegans. I hate people that do keto diets. Like all those 3 people literally will tell you that they do those things every fucking 5 minutes, and it's fucking annoying. Like, I get it, okay? You do CrossFit. Like, shut the fuck up.
Fucking Aldo, your whole life has changed now because of CrossFit.
Me?
Talk to him.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. What is CrossFit? I don't even.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were saying, you probably were talking about drinking something. I thought you were doing CrossFit.
Yeah, Crevassier.
That's what we drink.
Crevassier is what I said, not CrossFit. All right, man, the music just kicked in there really loud because this is the end of the show. Time for our shout-outs. And so we're going to go around the table here. I know everybody's got a few shout-outs to hand out there. There were some really good questions on Twitter. DC asked, will Andy Reid assist Nagy in building his coaching staff like he did for Peterson? You know, I don't know, guys. I think he did that for Peterson, but I'm not sure. His staff, Andy Reid's staff, is going to be decimated here, I think, in a week or so. So he may need help himself. What do you guys think? Do you think Andy Reid is going to... I mean, he spoke highly about Nagy, but do you think he's going to help him build his staff, make some recommendations, make some calls?
Well, I don't think he's going to have much of a chance, really, because, I mean, there's going to be guys on his staff that are going to be getting promotions in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and there's going to be guys that are out of contract. And Phil and I talked about it earlier. The offensive line coach in Kansas City is former Bear Andy Heck. So that's a name that I would kind of keep an eye on.
64.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, guys like that. And Andy Reid's always been the type of head coach that brings in former players. If you look at the staff in Kansas City, he's got Al Harris there. He's got Greg Lewis, guys that he had as players in Philadelphia. And, you know, Phil mentioned this too. I like that when he's bringing in guys that lived it, that, you know, that have recently played, that have a passion for coaching. And you know, you might be catching lightning in a bottle with a couple of these guys. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see, you know, Nagy go to what's familiar with him and grab a couple of maybe guys that he considers gems off his staff in KC.
And we are recording this. Just one quick thing. We are recording this at 10:40 Central Time, and Brad Biggs posted a story in the Chicago Tribune about an hour ago saying that there's a very good possibility that Vic Fangio will be signed on Wednesday, given the limited choices he's now facing and the full court press that the Bears are putting to bring him on. So if that's the case, yeah, like you say, Shane, there may not be a lot of opportunities to fill in coaching positions, particularly there in the defense. Trey, you were going to say?
I was just going to say, you know, I don't give a damn who they bring in, as long as defensive coordinator is filled. That spot needs to be filled by Fangio. That needs to be his spot. Period.
Yeah, I was
saying
that earlier in the show. We would love to have that continuity of Fangio coming in as opposed to starting over with a new defensive coordinator. At the press conference today, Nagy said it doesn't matter if it's 3-4, 4-3. So he sounded like he was open to bringing in a defensive coordinator if necessary, who was going to change things around. And I just would love to see the continuity of Fangio's defense and him to continue to work with these players. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, you got to bring Fangio back at this point. We talked about this early in the show. You know, I think it helps your defense continuity, but it also helps, I think, bring Kyle Fuller back, because I feel like with their relationship, there was some tough love there, and I think Kyle Fuller came back and really showed who he was under Vic Fangio, and as a football player, you want consistency and feel comfortable in that, and I think it's a critical re-sign or tag in 2018, especially with a new coach, to have that kind of corner out there and a showcase that you're loyal to guys that perform. Let's be honest, that needs to transpire in Chicago. Homegrown needs to be celebrated, and re-signed.
Aldo, Phil stepped up after his disgraceful showing of the rhymes on my segment. Phil, if you would have tweeted that out about Kyle Fuller and Fangio, you would have been my tweet of the week right there.
Really?
Come on, man.
I can't believe
Great
Hub
point.
Arc. Well, thank you, sir. I can't believe Hub Arkish's son didn't get a fucking tweet of the week.
Arthur?
Arthur.
What did he say that intrigued you there, Draft Dr. Phil?
Oh, nothing. He's never said anything. That's why I'm completely facetious here.
All right, well, let me give you one. David Haw. Maybe you guys agree with David Haw, but I thought this was utterly stupid. David Haw tweeted something about speculating.
That's Trey's boy.
Oh, I love David Haw. I've talked to him a number of times. He's a good guy. I think he's, in a difficult position, and I told him this.
Was he wearing a blazer jacket
he's
when you spoke to him?
He's got to deliver an opinion because he writes this column in the wake of the news, so he's got to come up with opinions. And I think a lot of times he's just digging way up his ass to come up with an opinion on something. And I think that's where he was today, way up his ass when he said Alex Smith potentially coming to the Chicago Bears as a backup quarterback. God. I was like, no,
he did.
David, you must be kidding.
Who's next? Drew Brees and Pete Carmichael?
Pete Carmichael, Drew Brees.
And that was a Mike Brez tweet too about bringing in Drew Brees for a season just to implement Carmichael's offense. And I was like, I didn't even respond to that one. That was
Yellow Jackets.
Swing and a miss.
Yellow Jackets makes brilliant analysts.
Football is not done that way, ladies and gentlemen. It's a orderly way of building a team. Trubisky now needs a backup, and he's not going to bring in a $15, $18 million
Hall of Fame
Alex Smith to come in. That's just not going to happen. I'm sorry.
These dudes watch too much NBA, man. Like, you don't just go get the. Okay, we want you, and you.
Yeah.
All come to the roster now. Come on, guys. Let's go get the whole fucking starting fucking quarterback thing in the NFC South and bring them to fucking Chicago. The fuck, dude?
Oh, man. Phil, you got some shout-outs to share?
Oh yeah. Pete, I got to shout out the Zoo City crew, B. Diddy, Jay Mueller. I got to change the shout out. How about Zeke, Isaiah Robles stepping up in the pocket?
Zeke is the man.
Air Jer and Isaiah Robles shout out. I think I'm going to change the shout out segment to the Air Jer Isaiah Robles. Little Nicky, B. Diddy, What's Wolf, Sandy Tom, Nelson Daniels stealing from Trey. Always. And how about my boy Sandy Tom? I gotta thank Jim Larison, class act, sending us gifts. Just appreciating the work that we're doing here. It only takes a second to just be truthful. I'm gonna be more positive in 2018. I'm gonna try to, help. I'm gonna try to help. I'm gonna try to help bloggers out, Shane.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna try to help get them jobs. I wanna put more people on our show. I'm gonna start praising a lot of the bloggers' stuff. If it's good, I'm gonna say it's good. I'm gonna go out of my way to do it because I'm positive, and I wouldn't put anybody's actual name out there and do that kind of shitty shit face McNuggets or whatever the fuck it was. So I'm just gonna be me this year for Bears Barroom because I love the barflies. Heidi, Stacy Hefner, Tracy Mahomes. There's one other person.
Yes, Jim McCaskey's dentist.
John Bradley from across the pond. Aaron Quinn.
Don't be that guy, Shane.
Skoola. I gotta do one thing for Skoola. Someone check under Skoola.
Yeah, what's happened to him? He's missing.
He's still taking down his Christmas lights.
That's a fucking 30-day job easily. He does it by himself,
shout out
too.
one other guy. Two other guys. How about Frankie Myers? He wanted chili. He wanted Childress. Nagy. Chachi. You were this close, Chachi.
Yeah.
Not quite the smartest man yet. You were close.
Hey, let me.
And by
go ahead. Your last
shout out. Last shout out is to Goosh from up in Canada. Goosh 42, shouting you out. Those are my shout outs this week. Top performers on my timeline. I'm gonna change it. Top performers.
Let me. I like that top performer. So let me shout out as a top performer. On Monday night, Bears Hour Live. For those of you who do not listen to Bears Hour Live, you really should on Monday nights, and then join us in the chat room. There's just some great interaction there. Trey is always there, busting balls and sharing his football knowledge. And we had somebody in who I'm not sure this person was new, because he definitely knew the barfly lingo and so forth, but he went by the name of Unemployed John Fox, and this motherfucker brought it with humor, man. he hit it out of the park, man. This guy, you gave him the ball, and he just took it all the way down.
Stepped up.
Yep. And Brandon Janoski, and there's a number of people. Stacy coming on to the chat room there at Bears Hour Live, and just making the chat room almost as entertaining as listening to Draft Dr. Phil on his show. Shane, who do you got as a shout out?
Nobody.
Thank you, God.
Let's wrap this shit up, Aldo.
Yes,
Play that
indeed.
fucking long song.
All right, listen, everybody. If you drink, please do not drive, and always bear down.
Bear down. You didn't even let Trey get a shout out, you fucking.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry, Trey.
Mailman.
Trey, did you have a shout out?
I'm yelling at Shane. Shane.
Hey, you know what? Fucking shout out, man. People know we fuck with them.
That's right. See?
Given we're shouting out the same people every week, we don't fucking need to do that. We love
Georgie.
you.
We gotta start shouting out people we don't like.
Yeah.
That would be a 5-hour show.
Hey, I'm down for that. That's some good controversy right there, man.
Yeah.
The drop of balls.
Hey, we gave you a shout out on our show. They'd be like, really? Just not tell them where it's at. Don't tell them where it's at in the show. Make them listen to the whole thing, just so they can hear the shout at the end, the very end. Yeah, we gave you a shout out on the show. You should listen to it.
It's Man Bun Monday, y'all.
Oh my fucking goodness. That's your boy, Phil. Singliski.
Got a lot of boys.
Sup, bitches.